I was reborn on the day I confessed my feelings to my childhood friend. Amidst the crowd's teasing, he looked at my tear-reddened eyes and asked coldly, "Luna Miller, is it fun making a spectacle of yourself?" Then he turned to gaze tenderly at the white moonlight by his side. "Wait for me a moment, I'll come find you after I finish this." He lectured me impatiently, "Why do you cry so much? If you have free time, read more books instead of obsessing over romance all day long." I had enough pushing him aside. I threw myself into the arms of the school team star, who'd been watching the commotion behind him. "Husband," I sobbed uncontrollably, while clutching the person in my arms. 18-year-old Caleb Reed was still alive. Everything could still be set right. One Caleb made me pinky swear before he died, making me promise to live to 100 before joining him. I agreed, then lied to his face. I went to find him on the third day. Before closing my eyes, I made up an excuse for myself. If I saw him, I'd say I dreamed of him flirting with other female ghosts down there. Truth is, I didn't dream at all. Without him, I couldn't sleep. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back at age 18. Holding flowers surrounded by rising cheers, confess. The crowd was surging, but I spotted that catching platinum blonde hair at first glance. He stood in an unnoticed corner, his gaze drifting over me with casual deliberation. I looked at him, and tears instantly welled up beyond control. Just as I opened my mouth, Ethan's voice cut in. "Luna Miller, is this your idea of attention-seeking?" In a daze, she suddenly noticed the person standing before her, his brows slightly furrowed, his expression cold. The lively atmosphere froze until Stella broke the awkward silence. "Ethan, we need to confirm your acceptance speech." Ethan turned his head to look at her. "Wait for me a moment, I'll come find you after handling this." Her expression was uncharacteristically gentle. Stella was a top student like Ethan. Some had joked that the two were the golden couple of academia, a perfect match made in heaven. Stella, however, dismissed it with disdain, saying, "I'm not the kind of girl who only has romance on my mind." At that moment, Ethan looked at her with rare admiration. He once told me he didn't like girls whose minds were filled with nothing but romance. Yet back then, my thoughts were occupied by him alone. I even foolishly planned to confess my feelings at the birthday party, believing he wouldn't humiliate me. It was only later that I understood what he despised most was my emotional blackmail. Just like this moment, he took the flowers from my arms with visible impatience. "Spend more time reading books instead of obsessing over romance all day long." I froze. Whispers rose from the crowd. "Look, Luna's crying." After chasing Ethan for so many years, the prom queen has become a laughingstock. Oh God, I'm embarrassed. Just watching her in my past life, I had indeed broken down in humiliated tears. But at this moment, my eyes were fixed solely on the blonde boy in the corner. I stared straight at him, my lips parting, trembling. I couldn't utter a sound, only tears kept streaming down. Seeing me like this, Ethan frowned and sighed. "Luna, why do you cry so much? I'm sick of it. Stop talking, you're blocking my view." I forcefully pushed Ethan aside and rushed to embrace the person I thought I'd lost forever. "Husband, you're still alive." "Husband, I'm so happy." Whoa. His warm chest, that familiar scent of sunshine. I clung to him, weeping uncontrollably. The person in my arms stiffened. "Miss, I think you've got the wrong guy." Her face flushed crimson to the tips of her ears. "Luna Miller, who are you calling husband?" Ethan's voice came from behind, laced with irritation. "How many times are you going to pull the same trick? Right, in my past life, I'd often feigned intimacy with other boys, just to make Ethan jealous. He'd get angry, then casually placate me, only this time the guy in question was that athletic kid he despised the most." I held Caleb tightly, my sobs growing more intense. "Well, you're really alive, husband." I couldn't believe it. My hand slipped under his clothes, urgently checking if his chest bore that fatal wound from our past life. Caleb was thoroughly startled by my actions. "Holy shit, what are you doing?" Between sniffles, I pleaded, "Take off your clothes, let me see." His face instantly flushed crimson. "I'm a decent man." I cried, even harder. "Whoa, hubby, I want to see it, please, just show me." His hands fidgeted awkwardly, finally lowering his voice helplessly. "Wait, can't we look when there's no one around?" Witnessing this scene, Ethan's eyes filled with disgust. "Luna Miller, aren't you ashamed to make such a scene in public?" "This time I want to comfort you." He turned and walked away. The crowd also dispersed unhappily. "Young miss, the show's over. Want to let go?" The voice above me carried a hint of mockery. I kept shaking my head, clinging to his neck, as I sobbed uncontrollably. "I want to let go, not in this lifetime." 18-year-old Luna Miller still had both her legs intact, untouched by depression. 18-year-old Caleb hadn't yet taken that fatal blow for her. There was still time for everything. Caleb looked at me with disbelief and threatened. "Then I'll just walk out like this, MHM." He carried me out of the classroom. Just as we stepped outside, the voice of the dean rang out. "Hey, Caleb, shouldn't you be training? What are you doing carrying a female student like some delinquent?" I still clung tightly to him, seeing my refusal to budge. Caleb blushed and explained. "Reporting teacher, this classmate injured her leg. I'm carrying her to the infirmary." The director's tone softened a bit. "You rascal, quite the compassionate one." Suddenly I remembered Caleb in my past life was just like this too, carrying me around the world to seek treatment for my legs, accompanying me through rehabilitation training. After everyone had gone far away, he looked at me somewhat frantic. "No, Miss Luna, what kind of act are you putting on?" I clung to his neck, without letting go. "Honey." He shuddered at the sound and gritted his teeth. "Don't call me honey. Who's your honey?" "You're my honey," I pouted with a grievance. "I love my dear husband the most." His head was about to explode. He reminded me in a deep voice, "Young miss, do you remember who threw away my love letter yesterday?" I felt awkward for a moment. The timing couldn't be worse. Caleb had confessed to me before, and at that time I had viciously stomped on the love letter with my foot. I hate athletes like you the most, all brawn and no brains. To be honest, I was just a dance student with flexible limbs and a simple mind. Actually, I didn't particularly dislike Caleb, it was Ethan who hated him, so I followed suit. He despised all simple-minded people, especially those like Caleb who had poor grades and acted like a bully at school. I blinked my eyes and explained with utmost sincerity, well, I was actually testing you yesterday. And I promise, honey, from now on I'll only love you. Caleb's lips twitched slightly. Ugh, can you stop calling me honey? I shook my head no. He gritted his teeth and resigned himself. Fine, call me whatever the hell you want. Looking at me, clinging to him like a koala, he sighed. But Luna Miller, he said, you're a human, not a monkey. Can you get off me? But I want to hold you a little longer, hubby. His Adam's apple bobbed. The tips of his ears turned red. 18-year-old Caleb was both sweet and fierce. 5 Caleb turned and carried me to his great uncle's house. The old man ran a fortune-telling shop on the street corner, muttering mystical nonsense every day. Great uncle, she seems to be possessed, Caleb said. The old man stroked his beard and gave me a glance. Eyes bloodshot, definitely tainted by something unclean. As he spoke, he pulled out a piece of parchment and drew a symbol. Stick this lucky charm on your body. It wards off evil spirits. Caleb left me outside the house and instructed me, wait here for a while, don't follow me, I'll be right back. I didn't listen to him and quietly followed to the door. I only heard him whisper, Uncle, I wanted to ask, is there a charm that could keep her this wicked forever? I secretly rejoiced, little fool, already crazy about me, utterly bewitched. Caleb, in this lifetime, let me be the one to run towards you. At 6, I lived at Ethan's house. Our families were old friends, and since childhood our parents jokingly said we were a match made in heaven. The year I turned 10, my parents passed away unexpectedly, and Ethan tightly held my hand. Luna, you still have me. I'll always be by your side. I moved into Ethan's house, and his parents treated me very well. Having practiced dance since childhood, his mother hired the best teachers for me. The wardrobe was filled with beautiful dresses Mrs. Hayes bought for me. But no matter how good they were, I wasn't their child. They were raising me to be their future daughter-in-law. Until I broke my leg and couldn't walk properly, they suddenly felt such a daughter-in-law was too embarrassing to present to others and said to me, Luna, we've always treated you as our own daughter, and Ethan sees you as his own sister. Don't worry, we'll definitely find you a good family. At the dining table, the Hayes couple kept serving me food while asking about my studies. Recalling their words from my past life, I couldn't help but find it somewhat laughable. I set down my chopsticks. Mr. Hayes, Mrs. Hayes, I'd like to move into the school dormitory at LL. Help me focus better on my studies. As you know, my academic performance hasn't been great. They look surprised, but the school dormitory conditions are so poor. How could you live there? Luna, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Ethan gets good grades. He can tutor you. I shook my head calmly. No, he is busy with academic competitions lately. I don't want to disturb him. Mrs. Hayes seemed to have noticed something. Did you two have a fight? Ethan remained silent, and I smiled. No, he has been very good to me. I've always treated Ethan like an older brother. In the future, he'll surely find parents-in-law as outstanding as himself, a wonderful daughter-in-law. Ethan paused, glancing at me. I had no appetite, and got up to go to the bedroom. Lying in bed, just like in my past life, the familiar insomnia crept over me once again. Back then, my depression was severe, and I relied on sleeping pills every night. It wasn't until I got together with Caleb that I gradually began to heal. Insomniacs are always anxious and irritable. I simply got up and went to the living room to pour myself a glass of water. I never expected to run into Ethan. Have something to eat. I noticed you barely touched your dinner. He brought over a bowl of my favorite chicken pasta and set it before me. Still upset about what happened earlier, he crouched down in front of me and sighed helplessly. I'm just frustrated that you're already an upperclassman, yet not focusing on your studies. Seeing that I remained silent, he reached out and ruffled my hair. All right, don't be mad, okay? He let out a helpless chuckle. Silly girl, he always did this, whispering something sweet whenever I felt wronged. And like a fool, I kept forgiving him over and over again, lying to myself that he actually cared, because he would be gentle with me, doing those seemingly thoughtful little things for me. Seeing that I ignored him, he stroked my hair again, his tone dripping with affection. Do you think our future child might be as silly as you? In my past life, he had said those very words back then. I was deeply moved, believing he had truly envisioned our future together. Little did they know it was after he and Stella won the award that a teacher remarked with emotion, if these two end up together in the future, imagine how smart their children would be. He didn't want to marry me and have children. He was worried that being with me would affect his next generation as intelligence. I forced a smile and looked at him. Don't worry, we won't have any children in the future. Ethan let out a sigh and frowned. Luna, I'm busy too. I don't have time to deal with your inexplicable tantrums. I smiled calmly. It won't happen again. Ethan stopped trying to placate me and turned to go back to his room. With dark circles under my eyes, I went out and knocked on Caleb's door. Caleb's parents were divorced, and he lived alone in an apartment near the school. The door opened, and I effortlessly threw myself into his arms. Honey, I want to sleep with you. You, he looked stunned, raising his hands in bewilderment. No, Luna, well, don't offer that kind of service. I can't sleep without you. I clung to him tightly, my voice trembling with exhaustion and tears. Honey, I'm really so sleepy. He got furious again, cursing under his breath. Sleep, sleep, sleep. I successfully entered his bedroom. The moment I lay on his bed, he grabbed his pillow and bolted for the living room. I quickly grabbed his hand. Where do you think you're going? Sleep on the sofa. No, let us sleep together. I clutched his hand tightly, looking pitiful. I can't sleep without you by my side, hubby. In my past life, Caleb was like my teddy bear. I always slept comfortably and peacefully with him around. I whimpered and refused to let go of him. He lay stiffly on the bed, exasperated. Sleep if you want, it's not like I'm the one who LL suffer anyway. Let me tell you, a bad boy like me is capable of anything. He spat out tough words, but turned his flushed face away, keeping his distance from me. I happily moved closer and hugged him from behind, my hand instinctively slipping into his pajama pants. He clutched the blanket and jolted upright. Luna, where are you touching? I pouted pitifully, holding it makes me feel safe. You feel safe, but what about me? He shielded himself tightly, like a chaste man guarding his virtue. Sometimes I really want to call the police on myself. You clearly love sleeping naked in my arms the most. He couldn't believe it. What sense when do I like sleeping naked? After we got together after marriage, Caleb developed a love for sleeping naked and insisted I join him. He called it skin-to-skin intimacy. For comfort, to be honest, it really was comfortable. Caleb stared at me, utterly baffled. Luna, have you been possessed by some succubus that needs to drain men's young energy to survive? Then will you let me drain yours? His face instantly turned crimson, as he righteously refused. Don't even think about it. I'll have you know I'm a model student who absolutely won T-date in high school. But I really can't sleep without cuddling. I pouted my lips. Honey, a flicker of struggle flashed through his eyes. Then just hugging, is that okay? He was exasperated, yet helpless. I'm begging you. I didn't get together with Caleb until I was 25. Who knew Caleb, usually so flirtatious and promiscuous, could be this innocent at 18? Truly dazzling and adorable. 18, such a pure and capable age. An innocent high school boy, the darling of older sisters' hearts, so hard to resist. Then let me take a look, okay? 18, such a tender rosy age. Harder than a diamond. What are you looking at? He acted as if his tail had been stepped on. His ears reddened and his gaze flustered. Luna, are you even a girl anymore? Tisk, he just didn't understand. At 28, I was in the prime of my lustful years. I bit my lip in grievance. Honey, calling me daddy won't help either. He tightly wrapped me in the blanket like a burrito, pinning me down from the outside. Go to sleep and don't call me husband anymore. I nodded. Okay, husband him. Wait, I mean okay, Caleb. 10. The familiar scent, the familiar heartbeat rhythm. My teddy bear had returned. Gazing at his 18-year-old self, I spoke softly. Caleb, I'm not possessed. Actually, I'm from 10 years in the future. I'm 28-year-old Luna. Why don't you just say you're an angel descended from heaven? Really, I truly came from 10 years in the future. He nodded perfunctorily. All right, I do believe you, even if you said you came from Mars. Don't believe me? How my mind whirled. I glanced down at his lower half. You've got a mole there. He jerked violently, his face etched with shock. Holy shit, Luna. When did you peek at me? Me 7 years later. He took a moment to process it. So you really traveled back from 10 years in the future. Unable to contain his curiosity, did I win the world championship 10 years from now? Of course you won the world championship at 22 and completed the Grand Slam by 25. No one in the world could swim faster than you. Holy shit, was I that amazing? He got excited and pressed further. What about you? Did you become a famous dancer too? I lowered my head slightly. Why, yes, of course. Are we married? His voice carried a hint of caution and nervousness. Yes, we got together right after high school graduation. When you won the world championship at 22, you proposed to me in front of the whole world. His eyes lit up slightly as he asked again, then, do we have children? I nodded with a smile. Yes, after we both reached the peak in our respective fields, you announced your retirement. At 28, I gradually shifted my focus from performing to teaching. That year we had our own child. I struggled to suppress the stinging in my nose. The year he won the world championship, he never proposed to me at all. I drifted through life in a daze, making a complete mess of everything. At 25, Luna was pulled from the abyss by Caleb, only to drag him into darkness instead. Fortunately, at 18 years old, there's still time for everything. 11, I woke up feeling refreshed and invigorated. Caleb had left early for training. He has been swimming since he was 7 or 8 years old, maintaining the same rigorous practice routine for over a decade, pushing his physical limits every single day. The hardships he endures far surpass the struggles of studying at a desk. When I arrived at the classroom, I happened to run into our advisor. Good thing Luna's here. The graduation prom is coming up soon. How's the talent show rehearsal going? I froze for a moment, a bit slow to react. My desk mate answered for me. Teacher Luna dances amazingly well, and her rehearsals with us have been fantastic. With Ethan's piano solo added in it, LLB absolutely stunning. Our class is definitely going to take first place. All right, let us hurry and rehearse. It suddenly occurred to me that the prom was just around the corner. The girls in our class were preparing a group dance performance. The teacher said this was a rare moment to unwind, so everyone headed to the dance studio to practice. The performance was set to be a modern ballet piece by all the girls in class, with Ethan singing and accompanying on the piano from the side of the stage. Ethan had been skilled at playing the piano since childhood, and his voice was quite pleasant too. I really wanted our group to win this honor, so I pleaded with him for a long time before he finally nodded in agreement. But at this moment in the rehearsal room, Stella arrived fashionably late. A classmate couldn't resist mocking her. Hey Stella, our top student, always making everyone wait for you. Could you maybe develop some sense of teamwork? Stella said calmly, sorry, the principal just asked me and Ethan to give the graduation speech as student representatives. Her voice was neither loud nor soft, yet carried an air of superiority. Someone muttered under their breath. Showing off much after Stella joined the group, I continued with our rehearsal. All right, let us review yesterday's routine first, then run through the whole thing with Ethan. Everyone danced well except Stella, who once again failed to keep up with the rhythm. At this point complaints grew louder. Hey Stella, what is going on? You didn't learn the moves yesterday and promised to practice on your own. Why are you still falling behind today? Exactly, could you stop holding us back? ISN, top student supposed to learn everything quickly can't even manage such a simple move. Everyone chimed in one after another. A flicker of displeasure crossed Stella's face as she retorted coldly. Why should a trivial graduation performance take up my study time? Before criticizing others, maybe check your own GPA. First, how dare you waste youth like this? What's the point of dancing this? Will it give you extra credit for your college applications? My anger instantly flared up. Stella, you were the one who showed up late, and didn't practice the moves properly. Why are you shifting the blame onto others? She chuckled mockingly. Luna, it's obvious you're just trying to steal the spotlight. Why drag others down to make yourself look better? Someone couldn't stand it anymore. This is about team honor. How did it become Luna showing off? She's a professional dancer. Should we let someone as uncoordinated as you take the lead instead? At the mention of this, everyone burst into laughter. Stella's expression darkened, and she spat out disdainfully. I can't be bothered to argue with you all. It's utterly pointless. With that single remark, she managed to offend everyone. Truth be told, Stella had never been popular in class. She once declared with icy arrogance, I don't like hanging out with girls. They're too dramatic. I'm different from them. She was truly different from the rest of us. While everyone was secretly reading young adult romance novels, she was holding an all-English copy of Shakespeare. When the teacher asked her to share her problem-solving approach, she wrote out a series of complex formulas and said, this is a concept from calculus which you won't learn until university. Probably only Ethan would understand it. Many girls in the class thought she was just showing off, but Ethan considered her a kindred spirit. They even believed that I was the one who started isolating Stella and bullying her. When Ethan stood up for her, she just calmly said, forget it, you can't discuss ice with summer insects. This made Ethan admire her even more. Some people said that top students like Ethan preferred girls who matched his intellect. What they sought was spiritual resonance in his eyes. I was just a simple-minded art student. I casually clapped my hands. In that case, Stella, you might as well not dance. Staring at her, I curled a mocking smile. After all, the way you dance is truly ridiculous. Another round of laughter erupted. She was instantly too furious to speak. Ethan, standing nearby, couldn't take it anymore. Luna, why must you be so cruel with your words? Does it sound unpleasant? I sneered, but in my past life, after I broke my leg, she spoke to me in exactly this tone. Luna, the way you walk is really hilarious. I was merely imitating her, except she never had a broken leg. A flash of anger crossed Ethan's eyes. Are you all just going to keep bullying Stella endlessly? He shielded Stella and declared, let me tell you, if she quits, I quit too. Stella's eyes reddened with emotion. Ethan. I smiled indifferently. That's perfect. In my past life, Stella didn't want me to steal the spotlight, so she deliberately fell at Ethan's feet during the performance. Ethan instinctively reached out to catch her. The accompanying music came to an abrupt halt. The entire show fell into silent awkwardness as everyone lost their rhythm in panic, their movements utterly chaotic. Yet Ethan's instinctive act of saving Stella was praised. Both being top students who were naturally favored by teachers, the instructor declared that friendship came first and competition second. Ethan's behavior was deemed most worthy of emulation, and they were even awarded a special spirit prize. While receiving the award, Stella deliberately waved at me. Luna, could you take a photo for us, please? The entire audience gave them a warm round of applause, and she and Ethan beamed with joy. Meanwhile, the girls in the class were backstage shedding tears of frustration. After Ethan and Stella withdrew, everyone struggled without their vocal accompaniment and musical backing. Luna, maybe we should just play the recording, someone suggested helplessly. I waved my hand. It's fine, someone can fill in. In my previous life, when my depression was severe, Caleb would often hold me and sing in my ear. His voice was truly amazing. After my leg recovered, he encouraged me to return to dance and step back onto the stage. As I danced, he would play the piano beside me, accompanying my movements. I immediately took out my phone and called him. Caleb, our program needs you to perform a piano solo and sing. Without even thinking, he replied, I don't fucking know how, so I pulled out my ultimate move. Husband, 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 shut up, husband, wait, no, I'm fucking coming right now. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. At this rate, he was about to become Pavlov's dog. Caleb came reluctantly, and in a hurry. Upon hearing this, Ethan and Stella were somewhat incredulous. How could Caleb replace you in the performance? Ethan snorted disdainfully. An athlete, what kind of decent music could he possibly play? In his eyes, both athletes and art students were just paths for those with poor academic performance. However, the doubts did not dampen our enthusiasm when the dance began and the lights came on. I led all the girls in our class in a graceful dance as soothing piano melodies and deep vocals slowly filled the air. Everyone was utterly amazed. Thunderous applause and cheers erupted from the audience. This is absolutely stunning. The girls in our class are drop-dead gorgeous. Caleb, why bother with swimming? You should just debut as an idol. After the performance, Caleb walked up to me, looking rather pleased with himself. What do you think? Didn't he embarrass you? Did I looked at him, my eyes practically sparkling with pink hearts. Honey, you're the best. He lifted his chin proudly. Of course, our performance was extremely well received and unsurprisingly took first place. Caleb and I went on stage as representatives to receive the award. The principal looked pleased. I never expected our students to be so talented. In previous years, we always chose the top academic achievers to give speeches, but well-rounded development in intellect, character, sports, and arts is our true goal. I believe our students will shine brightly in all walks of life in the future. In that case, Luna and Caleb, you two will deliver speeches as outstanding student representatives. We were momentarily taken aback, our gazes sweeping across the audience below. Stella clutched her prepared speech tightly in both hands, her face filled with unwillingness. Ethan's gaze fell upon us, his expression complicated. Standing on the stage, I took a deep breath. Hello, everyone, I'm Luna Miller. My late mother was an outstanding ballet dancer, and under her influence, I embarked on this path at the age of 7 from the very beginning with basic training through countless falls and getting back up. I never once thought of giving up. What dance has taught me isn't just graceful movements, but resilience and perseverance, the relentless pursuit of a dream. My dream is to attend Juilliard and win the National Dance Championship. Caleb immediately stepped forward, next his tall figure appearing particularly upright. Hello everyone, I'm Caleb, a swimmer who is passionate about my sport. From the fear and despair of nearly drowning at 8 years old to moving through water like a fish at 18, every day of training has been a dual test of both body and willpower. Failure, injuries, and doubts never made me give up because I have a dream. He paused, shedding all traces of unseriousness, his gaze becoming exceptionally resolute. My dream is to get into a top sports university and become an Olympic champion. The audience erupted in thunderous applause. At 18, those long-lost dreams were finally coming full circle. 14, after receiving the award and stepping off stage, female classmates swarmed around taking photos while holding the trophy. Let us find someone to take a group photo for us, someone suggested. I curled my lips into a smile and waved at Stella. Stella, could you do us a favor and take a photo for us? After all, you're the only one not involved. Stella suppressed her anger and raised her phone. Meanwhile, Caleb strode up to Ethan and handed him the phone with a smug grin. Ethan, do me a solid and take a photo of me and my wife. Ethan took it with a cold expression. Caleb handed me the photo to look at. How is it me? Just okay, Caleb said matter-of-factly. Then let us trouble Ethan one more time. My wife isn't quite satisfied. Ethan finally couldn't hold back anymore and roared at Caleb. Caleb, who the hell do you think you are? He reached out with his long arm and pulled me close, grinning brilliantly. Me, I'm just Luna Miller's husband. Ethan's face turned ashen as he glared at him through clenched teeth. A jock like you isn't worthy of Luna. An Olympic champion, don't make me laugh. I stepped forward. Staring at Ethan, she let out a cold laugh. Ethan, if I remember correctly, you ranked in the top 1 statewide on this SAT practice test. Do you know Caleb's latest competition results? 2nd in the state, 5th in the nation. Clearly you're the one who only knows books. Where do you get this sense of superiority to look down on others? I tugged at Caleb's sleeve, turned, and walked away side by side with him. Send me that photo. I want to set it as my phone wallpaper. Wait a second, I need to edit this with a filter. How can a grown man be paler than me? That's from soaking in pool disinfectant. 15, after school, Ethan and I were walking home together when he stopped me halfway. I was irritated. What do you want? He explained. Aren't you applying to Juilliard? Come home, I'll tutor you for the cultural subjects exam. I don't need it. In the past, when he tutored me, he was always extremely impatient. He couldn't understand why I couldn't grasp such simple problems. Helping me was nothing short of torture for him. I was wrong about the prom program. I apologize to you. His tone was uncharacteristically gentle as he lowered his pride. Stop being upset, all right. I chuckled dryly. Ethan, I was never throwing a tantrum with you. My studies are none of your concern. If you're that bored, go discuss poetry, philosophy, and life ideals with Stella. Luna, I don't like Stella, he hastily explained, making promises to me. I'll apply to New York universities, too. After graduation we'll be together, I promise you. I frowned and directly exposed his lie, but didn't you and Stella just apply together for early admission to the Ivy League? Luna, I was just trying it out. I didn't really mean to go. I found it utterly ridiculous. In my past life, he had also promised to go to New York with me. Until the day of my Juilliard audition, Stella deliberately told me. Ethan asked me where I wanted to go to college. I said I wanted to attend an Ivy League school, so he applied to the same university with me. He didn't tell you, did he? She held her head high, her face full of disdain. Luna Miller, how much longer are you going to pester him? He clearly doesn't like you. In this whole world, only Ethan is worthy of me, and only I am worthy of him. That time, because of Stella's provocation, I ruined the interview. When I confronted Ethan, he simply brushed it off, saying the Ivy League had better academic advantages, and that he didn't like Stella. He acknowledged our relationship and gave me the title of girlfriend. He told me to just wait a few years for him until he graduated, and then we would get married. I believed him, but when he graduated, he said he needed to focus on his career first. He started a business with Stella, riding the wave of the tech industry boom, and their careers took off together. Those years I danced in a troupe, neither thriving nor failing. My teacher always said I had great potential, but my movements lacked soul. Ethan and Stella became the golden couple in the media's eyes, a perfect match in social status. The marriage he promised me had been postponed time and time again. 16, I glanced at the date on the calendar. The prom was getting closer. Anyway, Ethan would soon be leaving for another state, and I wouldn't be chasing after him anymore. In Caleb's tiny apartment, the two of us academic strugglers were cramming like crazy. Who drafted the Declaration of Independence? Definitely wasn't me. I know it wasn't you. To be or not to be, that is the question. What toppings for the next pizza? Tired from studying, want a bite? Fine. After working half the night, this knowledge, just one tea stick. Early the next morning, Caleb and I unexpectedly ran into Ethan when we went out. By his side were his parents, their faces dark with shock and anger. Ethan was the first to confront me. Luna, you haven't been staying at the school dorm at all. You've been living at his place these past few days. I didn't deny it. That's right. Hearing this, his parents' expressions changed dramatically. Luna, how could a decent girl like you be so shameless? We've always treated you as our own daughter, raised you like a princess since childhood, and yet you've sunk so low as to live with some street punk. Get back home immediately. I stood there quietly listening to their barrage of scornful words. Then I curled my lips slightly and spoke calmly. Mr. Hayes, Mrs. Hayes, I'm deeply grateful for your care all these years, but I'm an adult now, and I can walk my own path. You've indeed spent considerable money raising me, but the trust fund my parents left after their passing has always been under your management. The generated returns must far exceed my upbringing costs. Right, I 1T claim it back, consider it repayment for your kindness. But from now on I 1T trouble you further. I'll have a lawyer handle the transfer. Hearing this, the two of them instantly flew into a rage. Luna, Miller, do you think we raised you just for your family's money? As expected, an adopted child is different. After all these years of raising you, we've ended up with an ungrateful wretch. You've never been the brightest, but we never looked down on you. We always treated you as our future daughter-in-law. And how have you repaid us? How can you face your deceased parents after doing something like this? Scenes from the past flashed through my mind. How naive I had been to believe their words, struggling desperately amidst their indifference. But in this life, I will never let myself be trampled upon again. How you treat me like a beloved daughter. Consider me your future daughter-in-law. In my previous life, everyone was shipping Ethan and Stella. No one even knew I was his actual girlfriend. I refused to accept it and publicly announced my relationship with Ethan on social media. The Hayes couple angrily confronted me. Luna, do you realize this will ruin Ethan's reputation and damage his career? He has already given you the status of being his girlfriend, and we've accepted you. What more do you want? Day after day you do nothing but chase shadows. Look at Stella. Why is she so outstanding? Yet in media interviews, the two of them said Luna grew up with Ethan as childhood sweethearts. Her parents passed away early, so we took pity on her and adopted her. We've always treated her as our own daughter, but she has been clinging to her brother since she was little. For a moment my name became gossip headline material. Childhood sweethearts. What era is this? Still playing with arranged childhood marriages? They adopted her, and she bit the hand that fed her. How ungrateful. Everyone knows the Stella-Ethan duo were the campus sweethearts, but this gloomy foster sister just had to butt in. Rumor has it she was a delinquent in school, always bullying Stella. She must be desperate for fame. I heard she asked some unknown dancer. Dancing? You mean that kind of erotic dance? Look at her face, definitely plastic surgery, completely crushed by Stella's icy goddess aura. During that time I was cyberbullied and abandoned by the whole world. All thanks to them, so this time I absolutely 1T repeat the same mistakes. Luna Miller, don't you dare come crying back to us when you regret this later. Mrs. Hayes hurled these words at me viciously, as if already certain of my miserable future. Ethan stood nearby, shocked by my behavior, angrily demanding, Luna, how could you speak to my parents like that? Do you even have a conscience? I curled my lips disdainfully, flashing a cold smile. No, I'm an ungrateful wretch. Please just leave me alone. Ethan's parents dragged him away while admonishing him, son, let us go home. Don't you ever get involved with her again. 17. I stood there quietly for a long time, so long that I didn't even notice when Caleb suddenly embraced me, whispering, Luna, did you lie to me? Were you unhappy in your past life? My eyelids trembled and my nose tingled with emotion. Actually, we didn't get together right after high school. I chased after Ethan for many years only to end up heartbroken and scarred. At 25, my depression grew so severe that I attempted suicide, and then I accidentally fell off the stage. Back then you appeared and said, Luna, I'm the world champion. Now I'll clear your name of all slander. Marry me, and I'll make you the happiest woman in the world, just to spite that wretched couple. On the day we registered our marriage, you announced to the media, this is my wife, the girl I've had a crush on for many years. Many people accused you of being blinded by beauty, and fans abandoned you in droves, but you didn't take care. You said, athletes, let their results speak for themselves. You took me everywhere to seek treatment for my leg, helped me through rehabilitation, played the piano for me when I was anxious, and sang to me. Holding me as I sleep, you've become my personal sleeping pill. Slowly, you've healed me and brought me back to the stage. I held him tightly, whispering close to his ear, every day with you is happiness. He patted my back rhythmically, but still I came into your life too late. I leaned against Caleb's chest, not letting him see the tears in my eyes. I didn't tell him that in truth we didn't live happily ever after. Caleb married me at the peak of his career. Back then, he had won the Grand Slam and was a national hero. But an athlete's prime lasts only a few years. No one can stay at the summit forever. Yet everyone's expectations of him remained sky high. Even placing second would draw accusations that I distracted him from training. Until one competition when he was already injured and unexpectedly developed a high fever before the match. My heart ached terribly and I insisted he withdraw, but at that moment an obsessive fan swung a knife at me, shouting that I was holding him back, and Caleb instinctively shielded me with his own body. 18. As graduation approached, Caleb and I were frantically catching up on academic studies while relentlessly honing our professional skills. Fortunately, in the new competition, Caleb won the state championship. I poured all my energy into preparing for Juilliard's audition. On the exam day, I clutched his gold medal, desperately absorbing its good luck. With the gold medal's buff effect, I performed steadily throughout. To my surprise, I ranked first in the audition. The moment I stepped out of the exam room, I wanted to give him a big hug. I never expected to accidentally run into my Broadway idol. He was even taller and more handsome in person, and to my surprise, he greeted me. Hello, you danced beautifully just now. I was overjoyed and immediately asked Caleb to take a photo of us. The male lead looked at the gloomy faced someone and asked curiously, who is he? Oh, just a classmate of mine. On the way back, someone was sulking like a resentful wife. Who's just a classmate? Why aren't you calling me hubby anymore? So now that you've got me, you don't love me anymore. Is that it? Me shut up. I'm just a backup, right? I'm just a joke, right? Me don't make me kiss you in front of all these people. He shut up instantly. I secretly poked his waist. When can I kiss you? His face turned red. When no one else around. 19 Not long after the university admission results were announced, and both Caleb and I received acceptance letters from our dream schools. We both got into our desired universities. What I didn't expect was that Ethan didn't go to an Ivy League school. Instead, both he and Stella ended up at the same university in New York. This power couple from our class continued to cause quite a stir even in college. They still competed together and won awards together. On the school forum, someone posted a photo of the two sighing that they were a match made in heaven. Faced with everyone's gossip, Ethan outright denied it. We're just classmates. I have someone I like. Later, people noticed that he seemed to truly have someone in mind. He loved watching ballet performances. Every time he went, he carried a bouquet of sunflowers, leading some to speculate they were for the girl he liked. By then, we were already sophomores in college. Caleb had joined the national team due to his outstanding academic performance. I became an overnight minor celebrity after working as a dance double in a wildly popular American TV series. Netizens showered me with praise. Luna's dancing is absolutely incredible. No wonder she ranked first in Juilliard's audition back then. With that face and figure, shouldn't you consider breaking into Hollywood, sis? I heard my little sister has a performance recently, so I immediately went to grab tickets. Every theater show was sold out. Then people started noticing. In the front row of every performance, there was always a boy holding sunflowers, quietly watching the stage. Later, rumors spread that the boy was a top student from a prestigious university, my childhood friend. Netizens started shipping us like crazy. Meanwhile, Stella posted a photo on Instagram of her and Ethan competing together, captioned, "The ones who understand each other best." This time, however, it was met with a wave of criticism. "Seriously, sis, Ethan already denied any relationship with you ages ago, saying you're just classmates. Why are you still clout chasing? Girl, you're desperate for fame." Everyone disliked Stella back in school. She always looked down on others just because she got good grades. What business do you have interfering with their childhood sweetheart bond, who gave you the confidence that Ethan would like you? She looks so scheming. Her figure, looks, and temperament are all outclassed by Luna. Online gossip news reached unprecedented popularity. For a while, Ethan's parents even gave interviews to the media stating, "Luna, she's our future daughter-in-law. She and Ethan grew up together and have always been close. After Luna's parents passed away, we took her and trained her in dance and treated her as our own daughter." Watching the couple's completely changed attitude, I couldn't help but find it amusing. I rejected all their conciliatory calls and instead posted excerpts of the legal documents I had prepared years ago on social media. The records clearly showed exactly how much money they made over the years by exploiting my trust fund. And here I thought this couple was so kind-hearted. Turns out they built their fortune on an orphan's inheritance. Luna has been dancing since she was 7. How is that you're doing? You've been sucking her blood and still demand her gratitude. Have you no shame? Many media outlets have been pressing me about my relationship with Ethan. I heard you and Ethan were childhood sweethearts. I thought for a moment. From the same town, not close, she posted a status update while tagging Caleb. "This is my future lawful husband." Overnight, Caleb's account gained countless followers. Oh my god, as expected of Luna Yen's selection, the handsome ones are all bringing glory to the nation. Those broad shoulders and narrow waist, those long legs, I can't even imagine how blissful it would be to sleep on them. What kind of celestial couple is this? I'm totally shipping them hard. That night, I slept on those 8-pack abs feeling exceptionally happy. Someone was no longer at the age where a mere touch would make them bristle. The techniques were exceptionally varied, exceptionally vigorous. I was gradually becoming overwhelmed. I've already swum 3,000 meters. Why do I still have endless energy? Sleep, I'm dying of exhaustion. I protested loudly, grabbing his mischievous hands. "Put your clothes back on properly." He deftly dodged his voice. "Husky darling, how can it be called sleeping if we're wearing clothes?" 20 after the performance, I still saw Ethan again. People can be truly despicable. Back when I chased after him, he couldn't be bothered. Now that I avoid him, he sticks to me like gum on a shoe. Holding flowers, he looked despondent. "Luna, I understand now. I did many things that hurt you in the past. But I truly loved you all these years. I always thought you'd turn back to look at me just once." His head hung low, voice hoarse, and eyes reddened. "I don't understand why you suddenly stopped caring about me." I took a deep breath, struggling to remain calm, yet memories of my past life kept surging like waves of despair. "Ethan, I had a dream," I said. "After graduation you left me for Stella and went to college in another state. You promised we'd marry after your graduation. I waited and waited. When you graduated, you said you needed career stability. First asked me to wait longer. Later you started a business with Stella, spending every day together. You admired each other and became the golden couple in everyone's eyes. No one knew I was your girlfriend back then. I begged you just once to come watch my performance, to bring me even a single flower, and I would have forgiven you, but you never came, not even once." He froze, disbelief written across his face. I looked at him and let out a bitter laugh. "You said what kind of low-tier theater is that? Do you have any idea how busy I was every single day? Right, you were busy dating Stella, ringing the bell at NASDAQ together, traveling together, meeting each other as parents. I've waited for you all these years. I can't accept this. But what can I do? Everyone sees me as the vicious villain. The truth is I've been ill for a long time, and in the end I attempted suicide multiple times like a madwoman. Faced with my repeated emotional blackmail, you grew tired and said, 'Fine, I'll marry you, okay?' But just before the wedding, Stella sent me her pregnancy report, and I, dazed and confused, fell from the stage heights and became crippled. I closed my eyes, my throat tight. In the end, your parents gave me some money and told me to fend for myself. He froze for a moment, then flusteredly explained, how could I do that? I wouldn't do that, Luna. I told you, I'd always protect you. It was just a dream. I shook my head indifferently. No, Ethan, I may not be the smartest, but I'm not stupid either. I stared straight at him. Do you really like me? No, you're just unwilling to let go. You're so clever. You know what I like, why I'm unhappy, and how to cheer me up, yet you refuse to do any of it, letting me suffer disappointment again and again. All you enjoy is my admiration for you, Stella's appreciation of you wanting to have your cake and eat it too. Take back your cheap affection. I don't want it, and you don't deserve it either. 21 After Caleb joined the national team, he began competing in international events. He repeatedly broke his own performance records. The whole world witnessed his brilliance. After gaining some fame, I devoted myself entirely to preparing for the national dance competition. This was the most prestigious honor in the dance world. My mother's greatest regret before passing was never winning the championship, so I resolved to give everything I had to fulfill her dream. Caleb and I, truth be told, spent more time apart than together. During those rare moments we'd have dates near the university campus. We'd barely taken 2 steps when a car suddenly came barreling out of the intersection. And Caleb, he reacted almost instantly, shielding me with his own body. With a loud crash, we both fell to the ground. Images of him covered in blood from our past life flashed before my eyes, and my heart felt as though it were being crushed by an invisible hand. Trembling all over, I screamed his name with all my might. Caleb, honey, I'm fine, I'm fine. He fumbled to comfort me. Don't cry, it's just a scratch. Really, I'm okay. Tears were already streaming down my face as I trembled and touched his cheek, choking back sobs. You bastard, you scared me to death. You're not dead. You're not dead. I held him tightly. From now on, you're not allowed to get hurt, not allowed to bleed, not allowed to step in front of me. He nodded repeatedly. Okay. But what I didn't know was that no matter how many times we started over, the moment danger came, he would still instinctively shield me. It took us a long time to come to our senses, only to realize that the person in the car was actually Stella. Luna Miller, you're actually not dead. She stared at me intently, her face deathly pale, her eyes hollow. Only her features had completely changed. They looked artificial with obvious signs of plastic surgery. For a while there were rumors that Stella had started obsessively getting plastic surgery. I didn't pay it any mind, but it turned out to be true. A high school classmate once gossiped that she had confessed her feelings to Ethan. Ethan rejected her without hesitation, saying her behavior was utterly cheap. Stella couldn't accept it and pressed him for a reason. Ethan impatiently tossed back a reply. Many things can be answered by taking a good look in the mirror. At that time, many people online mocked her, saying an ugly person creates more trouble. She started getting plastic surgery, but with each procedure, she became more dissatisfied with her face. However, it was said her family wasn't very wealthy, so she began applying for various loans. My studies suffered greatly, and the school even gave me disciplinary action. In the end, I couldn't pay off my debts and actually became a mistress for a middle-aged wealthy businessman. Stella stared at me, screaming like a madwoman at the top of her lungs. It's all because of you. My entire life was ruined because of you. Luna Miller, why do you get all the attention while I'm left to survive in the shadows? I'm clearly so much better than you. I smiled calmly. Maybe it's karma. I looked at Stella, who was once so arrogant but now utterly broken, and remained silent for a moment. Call the police. At 22, the year I graduated from college, my hard work paid off. I won the national dance competition. Stepping off the stage, I immediately spotted someone holding a bouquet of flowers, waving their arm. I joyfully dashed into their embrace and asked, was my dance beautiful? Devastatingly beautiful, like an enchantress, he murmured, gazing at me with love-struck eyes. I never understood those infatuated kings of old. Now, I only wish to become one of them. That same year, Caleb represented his country at the Olympics. At 22, he swam fiercely in the pool with astonishing speed and perseverance, leaving the world record line behind and achieving yet another breakthrough. At the award ceremony, he watched the national flag rise, his eyes reddening. When interviewed by an American reporter, he could no longer hold back and burst into tears. Thank you, my country. Thank you, my coach. Thank you, my wife. His voice choked with sobs, tears pattering down as his crying grew more intense. The last few reporters gathered around to comfort him. Just then, as if suddenly remembering something, he frantically fumbled in his pocket and tremblingly pulled out a diamond ring. He was crying uncontrollably. The reporters looked helplessly at me, growing increasingly anxious. Hurry up and say yes, or we really want to be able to calm him down. I looked at this crybaby, not knowing whether to laugh or cry, and hurried over to hug him, slipping the ring onto my finger. All right, I said, I accept. After long, while someone asked me with a flushed face, honey, was I just now really embarrassing? I sighed. Luna Miller, is making a spectacle of yourself really that fun? He raised his hands in assurance. Next time, I promise I won't cry. I rolled my eyes in exasperation. He always says that, yet tears always follow. Half the pool water must have come from his eyes. At 23, Caleb went on to represent our country, winning honor after honor in the following years. Through hard work, I too stepped onto ever grander stages. At age 28, Caleb could swim no more and retired with a chest full of honors. He began coaching young athletes to break his own records. I too relinquished the stage to younger dancers and returned to teach at our alma mater. That year we began our baby-making plans. I asked him with some concern, do you think our child might be particularly slow? He said excellence brings glory to the nation while mediocrity finds joy beneath our knees. None of us ever had a complete family or love. We would raise our childhood selves all over again. In the 10th year after graduation, we attended the school anniversary as outstanding alumni. Among the group were several former classmates. Suddenly, someone remarked, "Hey, do you guys know Ethan? His family seems to have gone bankrupt. I heard he made a fortune investing in real estate after graduation, but then the industry slumped, his funding chain broke, and apparently he lost a lot on stock investments, too. Now his company is bankrupt, and all his assets are being forcibly auctioned off." I snapped out of my daze, momentarily feeling like the name sounded completely unfamiliar. "Hey Luna, didn't you used to have a crush on him back then?" I shook my head frantically. "Nothing like that." The end.